Good morning, friends. Greetings. Welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your vitality and health and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 30 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, we are here for you. We welcome your calls at 844-236-6010. If you have a success story you'd like to share, if you want to contribute to the conversation, questions about the longevity products or formulations or skin health issues, if you have a comment or a question about our Truth Skin Health products, 844-236-6010 is our number. And, of course, if you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised on the program or recommended on the program, please head over to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com and order your Beyond Tangy Tangerine and Healthy Start Pack and Ultimate Niacin or any of your longevity products right off the website. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team right off the website as well. Or you can call 866-735-2470. That's the Brightside Ben phone team. Tell them you want to join the team for a one-time $25 investment. You can start yourself a business, the longevity business, and help spread the word and make some money at the same time. Help spread the word about how powerful and important a good nutritional supplement program can be and earn yourself some thank you checks all at the same time. Call the phone team at 866-735-2470. They can tell you all about it. And if you're interested in checking out our Truth Skin Health products, including our Truth Omega-6 Healing Cream, Truth Serum, Truth Balm, or Truth Retinol Gel, 5% gel, head over to truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. We got a skin health blog up, and you can find out all about the products and order products right off the website, truthtreatments.com. Okay, welcome back to The Bright Side. We've been talking about the ketogenic diet. A very, very helpful way of eating. Generates these powerful brain chemicals, heart chemicals called ketones. We've been talking about the steroid hormones, the youth and fertility and anti-aging hormones. And we've been saying that one of the best ways to upregulate, to stimulate the production of these anti-aging hormones is to calm the body down. Deep breathing, muscle relaxation, especially in the face, the facial muscles and the tongue muscles. Just relaxing the tongue can activate the parasympathetic relaxation nervous system. Of course, controlling eating behavior is perhaps the ultimate way to calm the body down. The ketogenic diet, caloric restriction, fasting. Problem with food and eating is our propensity to eat for pleasure versus eating for need. And a lot of that has to do with brain chemistry, particularly the brain chemical dopamine, which is associated with reward and with pleasure. We've known about dopamine for over 100 years. It was first synthesized in 1910, but it's only been since the 1950s, and especially in the last 20 or 25 years, that we've really begun to appreciate the importance of dopamine for day-to-day life, for how we live our lives. Until recently, it was considered just a precursor or an intermediary chemical for the production of other hormones, particularly adrenal hormones. And indeed, dopamine is very, very important for adrenal hormones, especially adrenaline, as it's called. But over the past couple of decades, our understanding of the importance of dopamine for healthy brain function has had a really important impact on the treatment of brain disorders, mental health disorders, Parkinson's disease, ADD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Dopamine is also being recognized more and more as the ultimate brain chemical of addiction, which makes sense because we're all addicted to reward. It's now recognized that dopamine plays a key role in the development of drug addiction, particularly when it comes to stimulants like cocaine and speed. Even caffeine and nicotine have a dopamine connection, addictions to caffeine and nicotine. When we feel down or we feel sad or we want to enjoy the pleasure of winning or getting a prize, achieving some kind of success, gambling, winning the lottery, playing cards, all of these are a reflection of a need for dopamine. We're attempting to upregulate dopamine secretion. If you're addicted to gambling, you're addicted to cigarettes, you're addicted to coke or speed, or if you just can't get enough of the pleasure of winning the lottery, you're just buying lottery tickets all the time, chances are pretty good that you're trying to upregulate your dopamine. And of course, if we're low dopamine or we're trying to stimulate dopamine, it's very easy to fall into the trap of eating food, lots of food, which is the fastest and easiest way to stimulate dopamine, especially sugar food. Sugar really upregulates dopamine, at least in the short term. In the long term, it will deplete dopamine, but in the short term, eating sugar and carbohydrate-rich foods upregulate dopamine. Food manufacturers know this. Marketers and advertisers who work for food manufacturers are quick to exploit this phenomena. And this is especially problematic if we are deficient in dopamine. Some of the signs of dopamine deficiency, according to Dr. Eric Braverman, who's written extensively about this in his book, The Edge Effect: sugar cravings, decreased sex drive, chronic fatigue, sleeping a lot, a history of drug abuse and addiction, weight issues. These are all signs that you may be dopamine deficient. Dopamine, as I say, is a precursor to adrenal hormones, and there's a very important relationship between dopamine and adrenal gland functioning. That means that in addition to dopamine deficiency, many of our unhealthy eating habits, food cravings, food addictions, addictions to sugar, can be linked to adrenal gland burnout. And also because the adrenal glands are connected to the thyroid or related to the thyroid, hypothyroidism can do this too. So adrenal gland burnout, dopamine deficiency, hypothyroidism, all of these can lead to food addiction, eating behaviors that are out of control. So when we figure out how to access dopamine without eating, not only will we be able to calm the body down, but we'll also be improving thyroid function, we'll also be improving adrenal gland function, we'll be accumulating anti-aging benefits, healing benefits, youth and fertility hormones will be upregulated. All of this can be accomplished by learning how to access dopamine without having to eat, without having to go for food. And of course, will benefit our entire body. And the good news is we can do this. We can access and improve dopamine chemistry without having to eat through non-eating mechanisms. If we can learn to reward ourselves in a non-caloric fashion or a non-food fashion, we can lose weight, we can increase our sex drive, we can improve chronic fatigue, we can wean ourselves off of drugs and alcohol, we can reduce the load on our digestive tract, redirect blood flow and energy from the digestive system, conserving energy for the good stuff, for building, for growing, for fighting cancer, for fighting neurodegenerative diseases, for fighting all kinds of chronic degenerative diseases, for creativity, for fertility, for a general sense of well-being. This is all by learning how to access our dopamine nervous system, our dopamine neurology, without eating. And of course, a huge part of this involves making sure that we're getting abundant nutrition. A well-nutriated body in terms of protein and fats and carbohydrates, as well as fiber and water and micronutrients, can go a long way towards upregulating or stimulating our dopamine nervous system, our dopamine neurology. And then there's also great nutritional supplements that are specific for dopamine in the adrenal glands and for thyroid and for appetite suppression. It all works together. When we upregulate our dopamine, our adrenal glands will, adrenal functioning will improve, our thyroid functioning will improve, and we won't be eating as much. That's where tyrosine comes in. I've talked about tyrosine in the past. Tyrosine is like if you take enough of it, it almost acts like caffeine or speed. It's a raw material for making dopamine. The body will turn tyrosine into dopamine. So if you think you may be dopamine deficient, if you find yourself craving sugar, or you have problems getting out of bed in the morning, or you're noticing your weight is starting to increase, or you're addicted to cocaine or drugs or nicotine or caffeine, and you want to wean yourself off of these drugs or improve dopamine production, think about getting on a little bit of tyrosine. Not a lot, because if you take a lot of tyrosine, it can make you really jittery, but if you take just enough tyrosine, just a small amount, say 20 to 25 milligrams a day, you may be able to upregulate dopamine without going into the jittery effects. All right, we'll finish up when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're Okay, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. We'll get your calls here in our next segment. Try to call in early, please, so we can get to as many calls as possible at 844-236-6010. If you have questions about anything we're talking about here today, or the longevity products, or the Truth Skin Health products, or something you may have heard about or read about, or if you just want to contribute to the conversation, or if you have a success story, 844-236-6010 is our number. And if you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised on the program, or if you want to join the Brightside Ben team, head over to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can sign up right from the website. And if you want to check out our Truth Skin Health products, go to truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Okay, 844-236-6010 is our number. We're talking dopamine as it has to do with the ketogenic diet and fertility and youth hormones. The ketogenic diet is a great way to upregulate dopamine. Reading from the journal Neuroscience Letters. This is from June 2014. Dopamine, a ketogenic diet alters the activity of the dopamine system, which may contribute to the diet's therapeutic effect in reducing epilepsy. Yes, you can upregulate dopamine, get all the benefits of upregulated dopamine by going ketogenic. Just another reason to use the ketogenic diet. You can use supplements to upregulate dopamine. I love tyrosine. You don't want to take too much tyrosine, but if you take just enough, you can get a nice bump in your dopamine levels, maybe 20 to 25 milligrams a day. If you don't want to go to the supplement route, you can eat tyrosine-containing foods. Cottage cheese is one of the all-time great tyrosine-containing foods. High-protein foods in general are going to get you tyrosine: chicken, beef, fish, turkey, oats. Other supplements that can help you with dopamine production include phenylalanine, which is similar to tyrosine. It's also found in high-protein foods. And, of course, when we take control of our eating behaviors, not only will we'll be accessing calming chemistry, turning on calming chemistry and turning on the production of dopamine, we'll also be turning on the production of our youth and fertility hormones. And all the inflammatory symptoms that are associated with aging and chronic degenerative disease will improve. The less we eat, the longer we live. The less we eat, the better we feel. I know that's harsh because we love to eat, but the fact of the matter is caloric restriction is the ultimate anti-aging, anti-inflammatory strategy. This way of eating is called the CRAN diet. Calorie restriction with optimum nutrition. Some people call it the CRAN diet, calorie restriction with adequate nutrition. Either way, it's a powerful, powerful anti-aging and healing strategy. All chronic degenerative diseases, all of them. This is 80% of our health costs and 80% of our health misery. Something like 60% of Americans have at least one chronic degenerative disease. It gets worse as we get older. Something like 70% of people over the age of 60 or 70 have 2 chronic degenerative diseases, and they're all linked to food and digestion. With the exception of infections and injury, there is no chronic, long-term, progressive disease that does not have a fundamental food and digestive component. Take that to the bank, folks. No matter what your health challenge is, look to the digestive system and look to food. This is not an assertion. It's not even fact. It's just common sense. It's fact and it's common sense. That's because for internal, long-term progressive disease to be present, the blood has to be chronically contaminated. The blood and the lymph, the circulatory system, is the bridge between the digestive system and disease. When the digestive system breaks down, which it does over time, the blood ultimately becomes dirty and contaminated, the lymph becomes clogged, and it is a short hop to degenerative diseases of all kinds from that point. The blood has to be chronically contaminated for degenerative disease to show up. The blood has to be dirty. Toxemia, toxic, sepsis, whatever you want to call it. The blood has to be dirty for chronic degenerative disease to show up, period. And specifically, it's the intestine that is the major point of entry of the dirt into the circulatory system, into the lymph and into the blood. Now, I'm not talking here about specific symptomology. I never talk about specifics, or rarely anyway, talk about specific symptomology. It's all systemic. It's the entire body. It's the entire system. That's how you know it's the blood. It's because the entire system is affected. If you have an issue, a health challenge that is affecting you from head to toe, that's covering the entire body, that's dispersed throughout the body, what else can it be but the circulatory system? And if it's a circulatory issue, it's got to be a blood issue, got to be a digestive issue. Nothing gets into the blood without